Metal Index te brinda nuevamente una entrevista de gran calibre. En esta ocasión nos trasladamos a Nuremberg, Alemania, para conversar con Linus Klausenitzer, quien es el reconocido bajista miembro de bandas como Eternity's End, Alkaloid, y que nos hablará de su nueva y esperada agrupación de technical death metal Obsidious. Nos brindará detalles de su actualidad y proyectos, así como anécdotas que destacan del cómo se volvió uno de los mejores bajistas del metal extremo mundial. Sin más preámbulo, comenzamos.
Sean todos bienvenidos a otro episodio de Entrevistas Metal Index. Mi nombre es Washington Ibáñez y hoy tenemos un invitado muy especial y nos atrevemos a decir que es uno de los mejores bajistas a nivel mundial en cuanto al metal extremo nos referimos. Hoy en Entrevistas Metal Index tenemos al Mr. Linus Klausenitzer, que es el actual bajista de una de las bandas prominentes del metal progresivo ahorita mismo, llamada Obsidious. También es el bajista de la banda Alkaloid and Eternity's End. Have you been, Mr. Linus?
Hey, thanks for having me. And I understand only a little Spanish, but I heard some very nice things. So thank you very much.
Great. I think Spanish is one of the hard language of the world.
You think so? I don't know. I come from Germany, and all people say that about Germans. So,
yeah, yeah, for sure. For me, Germany, Chinese, and Spanish.
It could be. But I always wanted to learn Spanish so bad because it's such a beautiful language, and my girlfriend is from Argentina already, actually. So also that makes sense. But my life is always full of full of work and other things that I have barely time to learn a language, but it's on my bucket list.
Yeah, someday I was trying to learn German, and one day I said, I'm done. I'm done. We are so excited to having you here and making this happen. We think here in the channel that you are one of the best bass player of the metal history.
Wow.
Do you ever imagine that you were going to become such a good bass player when you were a juvenile, when you were a kid? Because I know you got started to study music as a kid when you were 10, 11, right?
My parents are both musicians, so I started really at an early age to go to first music lessons and playing violin and trumpet and piano and things like that. But I think when I was a teenager and I started to learn bass, that was my one life goal, was to be a metal bassist. That was my big dream. So of course I was very I really wanted to make this dream happen, so I worked a lot on it, and I was also very lucky, I guess, with all the contacts that I made and all the experience that I could do. I played 9 years in Obscura. That, of course, brought me forward a lot, and all that life experience and all those things, all the studying. Yeah, I'm happy it worked out in the end. Yeah, I'm very, very thankful for that.
How do you describe playing bass instead of playing violin or guitar or making voices? So for you,
I, as you say, I think that's a very different thing, a very individual thing, because I really enjoy the groove of the bass and just the warm feeling that you have when you play it. Like you feel the vibrations in all of your body, and it also is, for me, one of the most powerful instruments. It's like the connection between the drums and the guitar. The drums are, of course, the most powerful and loud instrument, and the guitars are the melodic instrument. But they have those queasy high noises, and it's like I prefer the low noises, and it's like more. I don't know. Has something more. I don't know how can you say that it's more.
I always say the bass is the soul of the music.
Yeah, I don't know. For me,
No matter how the music is, rock, pop, electronic music.
Yeah. In a lot of music it is, and in death metal, bass is completely underrated. And I think a lot of bassists. Every time I talk to a person who wants to make a band and they want to make a different sound, I think the bass is the best option right now, because almost every bassist sounds the same right now. So it's really one way to make your band sound unique. If you listen to all the huge metal bands like, I don't know, Gojira, you can hear by the vocals, you can hear by the drum sounds and by the guitar sound that it's Gojira. So it's so hard to find that own sound. And with the bass, I find it's a very good option right now, because everybody goes for the same thing. So yeah. And coming back to the question why I love bass more than the other instruments that I played, is really just what it felt different to me. And I always hated to combine two brain areas, like on the piano, for example, that two hands do something individually. I always hated that for some reason. So and that doesn't happen on bass. I only focus on one hand, and the other hand does automatically what it should do. So that's something I enjoy. I don't know why, but it's really the only instrument that I can enjoy. I don't play guitar. I hated singing always. It's really it's just one instrument that I really enjoy, honestly.
Yeah, the bass is really awesome. It's a special a sound of the music for sure.
Yeah.
But before continuing this interview, invito a nuestra gente a suscribirse en nuestro canal Metal Index en YouTube. Dale click a la campanita para que no te pierdas absolutamente de lo que tenemos para ofrecerte. También síguenos en nuestras redes sociales en Instagram, Facebook y Twitter. It's amazing as well, because you're working right now with one of the most ambitious new progressive metal band today. I'm talking about Obsidious, band which was been formed by you, Rafael Trujillo, and Sebastian Lancer. All of you ex Obscura.
Indeed.
This is kind of evolution of virtuosity and technique, and also the unique voice of Javi Pereira is absolutely good. It's amazing. What was the first intention to create this band, and what do you think about all reaction from people on social media?
Well, thanks first of all for saying that about Obsidious, and I share that. I share a lot of those thoughts you just mentioned. I think that in the time when we were in Obscura, we all knew that we wanted to leave, and when we were about to leave, we decided, okay, the three of us, we still want to keep making music together. And also later on, we realized that one of the reasons why we left Obscura, and in that moment it was not so obvious to us, it was that we wanted an evolution. And we didn't feel that with Obscura anymore. So there was a kind of barrier, like a limitation, and and we always want progress. It's something natural in a musician that tries to invent music all the time that was not there before. Yeah. So that was a very important impact. And when we started playing music together, it was really hard to find our own sound. So we spent hours and hours and hours and hours working on it, and then we allowed ourselves to include clean vocals, and I think that makes a huge difference. And that we all have that power metal background is also something very unique. All the death metal musicians that I worked before, most of them at least, they have a very death metal background, like classical death metal, like Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, very atonal stuff, and then you have that neoclassical power metal stuff on the other hand that somehow collides in that music, and that's something I really enjoy. And and I just appreciate what Raphael and Sebastian are doing so much. I find they're incredible persons also, and musicians. It's amazing, and hearing now the full potential of Sebastian writing all those odd meter things and Raphael going crazy with his arpeggios, it's a big pleasure for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know this is weird to talk about this topic, but I have to because uh, everybody knows the personal issues that you with Obscura and everything like that. But Jesus and I have the same reaction about this. You were part of the best Obscura album, Acriosis, and then you were on the Lovion. Do you think that Obscura still feels special on your career?
Of course, it was until it was the band that I spent most time with. That's why it was super important for me. Like I said, I'm happy now. Like looking back, I'm very happy. I'm still very happy I left for a couple of reasons, especially this evolution that we can do now. But of course, it was a very hard decision also to make, because imagine you have that band name Obscura. We were touring our asses off for years, all over the world. We played on 4 different continents very regularly, and we built up a name as a support band for a lot of bands. We went through a lot of hard times together, and just leaving that behind and start again from scratch, that was a very hard decision to make. And that was really that was not easy. And you were also asking about the reactions on social media so far. You see, of course, that we have way less reactions than Obscura, for example, because we need to build that name again, and that's a very hard thing to do now. We're all in our most of the band members are in their 30s now, so it's not that we want to sleep on floors anymore, touring in a little van to build a name, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to do it differently, and right now with Corona, it's anyway very hard to tour. So yeah, so we're all the time talk about different ideas and what we can do, and I mean, like I would like to have way more reach on social media, but the reactions on social media were very good so far. We wanted to polarize, like to make people. We wanted to piss some people off with the clean vocals. We knew that, of course, like a Cannibal Corpse fan won't like synthesizers and clean vocals. We were aware of that, and of course also a classical power metal fan wouldn't like I don't know, blast beat, for example. So we really I think, like, from the reach that we had, we filtered out now, and we focus on the fans we have now, and try to make that bigger.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, you got a new video called the single called Under Black Sky.
Oh yeah. I enjoyed it very well, and it was actually my idea to work with them, because besides being a band musician, I also work as a session musician, and I recorded a lot of albums for people around the world. And I worked a lot together with a musician called Anthony, who plays in a band called Chaotion and Death Tribe. Those are his 2 bands, and I played the last albums of both bands, and we're in constant contact, and we got friends over the years. And he started to work with them, and I enjoyed it a lot. He's a musician from Lebanon originally, and he made a video about that catastrophe that happened in Lebanon. I think, was it 3 years ago, that big explosion. And they worked on a very great video about that together, and they made a film, a longer film together, and that quality I enjoyed a lot. And then we talked with Obsidious about to make an animated video, and they came immediately in my mind again, and I showed the other guys the videos, and I love what they're doing. I think they sent us the video. We just had 1 or 2 change requests, and that's it. So super happy. I like how the aesthetic supports the music. They understood the musical idea. It's cool.
Yeah, you also collaborated with Alkaloid. You told me that you collaborate also with Anthony on Death Tribe. You have also a band called Infinity's End.
Infinity's End, yeah.
How do you manage your time?
Well, I mean,
it's gigs, it's tour, it's practice, it's family is everything.
Yeah. It is pretty tough, but that's why I can't speak Spanish, for example, yet. That's exactly why. It is very tough, and I guess I have less free time than other people, but still I enjoy it so much, and it is so much of my identity that I cannot, that I don't want to miss it. Yeah, and I'm so thankful that I can make pretty uncommercial and honest music, and still people are interested in it, and that I love. And all the session music, of course, it's also enjoyable for me when people from Lebanon and people from Pakistan, Egypt, people all around the world come and ask for session gigs, which is one of the big benefits from internet nowadays. I find that everybody complains about the internet and the impact to the music industry and to session musicians, like a studio musician, that kind of job changed so much. You're not booked from a studio anymore. Now you can do it from home. For everybody around the world, you don't need to play only original music. You can make so many interesting projects, and I love that. And very fortunately, like I said, there are not so many interesting metal bassists that do something else, and I have that fretless bass thing in metal, and I do things different to others. I think that I can say about myself. And that's a big benefit why I get those jobs. It's a cool thing to do. But managing the time is it's quite tough. And you mentioned just three bands. You mentioned the three bands that I have. It's Obsidious. That's what I focus most on and spend most of the time for. Because learning and writing a song like that already takes way longer than for a normal band. Then I have Alkaloid, which is another ex-Obscura band actually. It's with Hannes Grossmann on drums and Christian Mützner on guitar. Who's now back in Obscura, but
Christian?
Yeah. One of a very close friend also for me. And and we are also just recording the third album with that band, but that's more like a project. We don't really play a lot live, and so like that project comes back every 2 years, and I record that record, and then the work is done more or less. A little bit of promotional work or songwriting here and there, but that's not so much work. And Eternity's End is the same. It's I just play bass in that band. It's the power metal band from Christian Münzner, and I just play bass on the records, and that's it. I don't make any songwriting for the band, nothing for promotion, so it's not so much work. That's how I can handle it. And then I have all those session, like you said, all those session jobs. I play bass for I cannot say for what band yet, but I play for a German death metal, a black metal band for this summer, a couple of shows. I play with Beyond the Black. It's a German female-fronted metal band. I play a lot of shows with them this summer. So I'm happy to play a lot of shows. Also, we play with Obsidious. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, are you touring with Eternity's End on Mexico, right?
Yeah, that's very nice that you mentioned that. Exactly. I know you have a Latin American crowd, so we will come to Mexico next month, which is very exciting. With Rata Blanca, an Argentinian band, and I didn't know before, and but I think it's very familiar in Latin America, right? Rata Blanca?
Of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Linus, this is another special achievement for you to work with a big endorsement for any musician. You are part of the Ibanez family, and you feel something special about playing fretless bass. Why you always pick this kind of bass guitar besides others?
First of all, I played Ibanez. My second bass was an Ibanez bass already, and that was my first 5-string that I played all the metal band stuff with. And that's how I grew into the brand. And when I got into Obscura, they had already contacts to Ibanez, and the Ibanez headquarters of Germany is just like not even an hour from here by car. So I went there and I met the guys, and we have a very good relation since then. I often just drive out, we have a coffee and talk about different bass ideas, and I make videos for them. They just show me some basses. It's a very good relation. And that is worth a lot. If you have a problem already with the bass, for example, once I had to record a record and then I had a problem on the bass, something was broken. I just drove there, had a coffee, and an hour later my bass was fine again and I could go back and record the whole record. That kind of business relation is something that is very important for me, and I just grew up with that sound. Like I grew with that sound, you know, it's a part of me. Somehow I developed my sound with Ibanez basses always, and that's why I play those instruments. So, and I like to play those instruments. And I find the price compared to the quality is really outstanding in the industry. I find compared to other companies, it's really outstanding. I find, and they have like really basses from a very low price to a very high price, and in the middle, and they make weird experiments basses like a 7-string, or I have an Ibanez Ashula, which is like a hybrid bass of a fretless and a fretted string. It's like they're open for experiments, they're open for new things, and still like I don't know, make products for everybody. I don't know. That's a lot of advertisement for a company now. But that's how I feel about it. That's why I work with them.
For me, it's special Ibanez because my last name is Ibanez. But in English is Ibanez. So my first name is Washington. My last name is Ibanez. And when people say, how do you spell your last name? Well, Ibanez, like the guitar brand, like the bass guitar brand. And people say, oh, okay, fine, Ibanez.
Nice. And you play Ibanez? Do you play an instrument from them?
I used to play Ibanez. I used to play bass guitar.
Nice.
But I quit.
Okay.
Because of the time, my children, my job. It's really difficult to get the music in my life right now. But I have my bass guitar here in my room.
And Ibanez still.
But that's Ibanez.
Nice.
Linus, it's hard to say that you learn so fast to play bass guitar. Any band or any influence when you were a kid and you follow the people nowadays?
You mean influences that I start to listen to and that I still listen to now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, in terms of metal basses, when you start to have legends in front of your eyes, there will always be a legend. So, at least most of them. Steve Harris is, of course, I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan. And of course, in the extreme metal scene, for the percussive sound, Alex Webster is amazing. My favorite fretless bassist was always Sean Malone. An amazing sound and such incredibly great taste in writing melodic bass lines. I always loved that super much. Steve DiGiorgio, of course, growing up with that, with his records. Those were my heroes. Now I also always liked funk music because the bass is very interesting there, and I like percussive sounds, and so it's like a lot of modern bass players I follow on social media also, and I still listen to the music, like Evan Marion, for example, is a great bassist. Cody Wright, people like that, like very modern bass players, but they have a different approach to playing bass, and it's I enjoy that a lot. I'm still very hungry for searching new basses and new style. I still enjoy that a lot.
No, cool. Now, Linus, any future plan on your career?
Future plans? Well, I am working on a solo record since 2 years also. It was something that had the lowest priority for me at that point, because I wanted to focus on Obsidious, and that took quite some time. It took so much time to create a band sound, to start all that process of having a band, like creating a logo, finding a band name, registering the company, finding a manager, finding a label, finding, technicians, is finding a studio, writing the songs, recording the songs, the pre-production. You go into the studio to learn the songs before, and then you go to the studio recording the song. It was so much work. So but in the working in the songwriting process for the next Obscura record, I had some songs left that I knew they wouldn't fit to Obsidious and wouldn't fit to anything else, and I was writing into because with a new Obscura record we tried to get a new perspective on the music, and that just clashed. We couldn't agree on music together, so I had some very melodic death metal kind of songs, and that I just enjoyed trying myself into that in that kind of genre a little bit, and that's how I wrote a complete solo record now, and that is was supposed to be recorded in November already, but Hannes Grossmann, who was supposed to play drums on the record, broke his arm back then. So yeah, he's going into the studio in a few weeks, and yes, then that's the next big thing that I'm focusing on, is my solo record. Yeah, everything is written. I have found musicians already for the record. So yeah, if you're curious about my music career, just follow me on social media. I'm all the platforms that you know about, I guess.
Well, all right, Mr. Linus, thank you for everything you have done to the music. It's a privilege for street music metal lovers to hear you, and again, we think you are a big part for the metal music history.
Thank you so much. It's super nice, really, and it's also great to speak to a Latin American audience, because I always enjoy being there and play shows. It's my third time in Mexico, and I'm super looking forward to it. I love it there. I hope to see somebody that is listening to the podcast right now. I hope to see them there. And I love how passionate they are about music, and how wild they are as a crowd. Like the Germans stand in the crowd like this, like just, I don't know, the cold-blooded as the Germans are. I enjoy how hot-blooded the Latin American people are. I'm very looking forward to that, and I always felt a strong connection to Latin America. Like I said, my girlfriend is from Argentina, so yeah.
Yeah. And before to say goodbye, this is a main question today, and people want to hear this kind of words from you. When is the Obsidious album releasing?
That's
the whole album.
Yeah, that's a bad topic, unfortunately, because we finished the record in August last year, and there were some problems with inside the label, and you have that problem. I don't know if you know about that problem, but if you want to press a vinyl right now, it's very hard. It takes a lot of time. It takes like 8 to 9 months right now to get a vinyl pressed. So that took some time until the artwork was done. It took a lot of time, and that's why it will come out in October. I think the date is the 28th of October. There will be an official release statement with a pre-sale with the next singles. But we in the label, we agreed on releasing a lot of singles before the record, so you will constantly be hearing from us, and we will hit out single by single, so you get an idea of what else the band is doing. We have a couple of musical surprises on the record, I think, and but it stays wild, and looking forward to share the record finally.
Well, we expect to play this album this year for sure.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, cool. And if I don't know if you come, any of your listeners come to Europe, we play in the Metal Camp Festival also, and the Euroblast Festival in Germany. Both two great festivals to go to if you don't go to Wacken, or if you also go to Wacken, whatever.
Fucking awesome. And would you please send some words to people who follows Metal Index?
Sure. Like I said, I have a deep appreciation for everybody in Latin America. You have by far the best food in the world. I love that. Your nice personality, your interesting culture in all the countries over there. Thank you for also. I and my bands, we always had a crowd there and people interested in supporting the bands on social media. Thank you so much for that, and I hope that you also like all the future journeys that I'm doing with different bands. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Linus.
Thanks.
Ya, para todas aquellas personas que nos ven por primera vez, no olviden suscribirse a nuestro canal Metal Index, dale click a la campanita para que no te pierdas absolutamente de lo que tenemos para ofrecerte. También síguenos en nuestras redes sociales en Instagram, Facebook y Twitter. Sin más nada que decir, Washington, USA, Linus, Germany. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you later.